The way we view black beauty has changed. Look at me. See, I'm single right now. But back in the slave days, I would have never been single. I'm 6 feet tall and I'm strong, Colin. Strong! I mean, look at me. I'm a mandingo.
Leslie, you're not saying you'd rather be a slave, right?
No, that is not what I'm saying. I do not want to be a slave. Hell, I don't like working for you white people right now. And y'all pay me. I'm just saying that back in the slave days, my love life would have been way better. Master would have hooked me up with the best brother on the plantation. And every 9 months, I'd be in the corner having a super baby. Every 9 months. Every 9 months, I'd just be in the corner just popping them out. Just Shaq, Kobe, LeBron, Kimbo Slice, Sinbad. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I would be the #1 slave draft pick.
Welcome to another episode of The Plug. I am your host, Tommy Monty. I got my co-host, Honey BQB, HBQB, 23,000, whatever the name is. What is your name?
What is this 23,000? Honey BQB, HBQB.
Hey, you know how people be having them names on Twitter and Instagram? You be like, why would you choose 3009? Like Jason 3008.
Any numbers.
No, I'm just saying, you know how people do that. You be like, why would you choose that? Anyway, this The Plug. You know, we just heard some audio. I didn't really want to come in on that, but I did. Heard some audio from, what's her name? Leslie Jones, new writer on Saturday Night Live, new actor / writer. She's a new actor on Saturday Night. Actress. Oh, yeah, she's not an actor. Even though she said she was 6 feet mandingo.
She's more of a comedian.
She is a comedian, though. Because I've seen her in movies. Repo. She was in Repo. Anybody say Repo, that's a...
And her name was Brittany.
In Repo?
Yeah, you know I remember that.
Hell nah. Anyway. So you should clean it out.
Repo?
Repo is with Master P and Michael Blackson.
No, I'm thinking about the movie with Martin Lawrence.
Whoa. What was his movie called?
The movie, he had national security. She was in that.
Well. Yeah. Anyway, what do you think about what she said?
It was jokes. I mean, it was jokes. It was funny, but I could see how it is offensive in his stereotypes. I didn't see the clip though with the watermelon and all that. No,
dude was just in that video. He was just giving his. He was saying it ain't like she was walking around with watermelon. I was like, he's just going off on a hill, like something that's never been done, you know?
Right.
Or recently. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to seem wrong, but their audience is majority white. Their viewers are majority white. So the people laughing at the time who made the joke were white, you know. I just be like, I'm just trying to see where's the line of compassion. They're selling you compassion.
I'm not going to say that.
Because we can't do them like that.
Yeah, because I'm not going to say. Actually, wasn't she like the second black woman on there?
I'm not going to go off on that. I know Clegg Horn used to be on there.
They just had some discrimination about something like that, though.
No, but they did say that they had a black female meeting only, audition only for Saturday Night Live. And just to have that is an issue because they have white auditions only and it's never called white auditions. They just have auditions,
right,
and select majority white if any other, you know, especially with the women, you know, they might go on a stretch and get Keenan, who I don't think is funny, but you know, things like that.
Keenan already works on there though.
Yeah, what I'm saying, go on a stretch to get him, I don't think he's funny for real, but they using him to exploit all the black characters that they need exploited.
Right.
So he'll be Obama, and then Al Sharpton, and then LeBron. It's like, he gonna be every black person they need him to be. You know, he not gonna really have.
Can't be LeBron.
Man, shit. Nah, okay, shit. Anyway, like I said, I'm a guy with a sense of humor. I make jokes all the time about things, but I feel like it's to what audience are you making these jokes to? You know, that's the only thing I'm saying. What is the audience that you're making your jokes to? You know, and who's laughing and why are they finding this immediate tickle? You know, who's giving them the urge like, hey man, this is comedy, laugh. Is it because it's a black comedian? I don't know. But it's nothing, you know, to shoot her down. I think they still need to keep her on Saturday Night Live or SNL, whatever the new name they want to call it. But I don't think it's appropriate, you know, for her to allow SNL to use her like that. If she can't have broad skits, if she's gonna be, you know, on there to give them a ride, range of ideas, you know, and comic relief or whatever you want to call it, then that's cool. She
did what most comedians do. She did a skit about something that people were already thinking in the back of their minds. They're in their homes thinking, she's tall, she's black, she's very dark, this woman. So this is what you see when you see her.
You think that?
This is what the white people, you have to think, if you were white and you seen this woman on TV, what would you think when you see her immediately? You have to think like you're white.
She was sitting down. I didn't know she was 6 foot until she said it.
She said it, but
in that movie Repo, I think she like stood up next to Master P, and she wasn't
tall.
She wasn't short next to Master P.
Not no short woman. Even in the movie with National Security, she picked up Martin Lawrence. And it was the depiction of that, but I don't know, you know, if it actually happened. But they were just playing on the fact that she's tall, she's big, she's strong. You know what I'm saying? So these are the characters that she's been known to play, which she just took, you know, what, like I think white people, white America was thinking in the back of their mind and made jokes about.
Well, I don't want to just single out white America because I notice how the entertainment industry exploits certain people off of certain things. Yeah, just like Monique. She used to make fun of skinny girls and embrace fat. Now you see Monique and she trying to lose weight. And it's because they play on insecurities. Like, oh, you want to be here? Then you're going to have to do this.
Right.
You're going to have to make 20 million more fat people. Make people comfortable to be fat. Make 20 million more dumb people who don't care about their history. Like they that's how I look at it. You know, it's not. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I do feel like they are driving the slavery subjects to the, you know, into the ground. Let's talk about what we were doing though. We need to know about what we were doing before slavery, and where were our people, and what were they doing before then? So that's the question that we need to be talking about. Why are we not talking about that?
Yeah, I mean, why is that just a joke that's acceptable for all people? You know, and I wonder if she was joking about the African Holocaust being better. I mean, being not better, because there's no way. Being more severe than the Jewish Holocaust, just talking about, you know, what we experienced, what they experienced, and just going hand for hand, but doing it in a joke format, would it still be funny to everybody? Why is it just funny when it's a one-sided coin? No, you just get with the jokes they give you. That's why I'm not gonna lie, I had to stop watching Family Guy, because I feel they are still, they're not, people be like, oh, you gotta live a little, but they're feeding stereotypes. And that's all they're doing, because you have people who don't have black friends, who don't have white friends, and who don't have Chinese friends, and don't have other, you know, ethnic friends from other ethnic backgrounds, and what they see is what they see on television. So if you making fun of them on TV and they laughing at you all the time, that's what they gonna feel about you. That's what they think about you. I think Chinese people can't drive off of what television says.
That's true. From the subconscious mind, you will automatically think that. I don't think that about Chinese people, because of what the television said, I think that because I've experienced it. And
yeah, but television has opened your eyes. But they opened your eyes to it to make it feel like...
I didn't even know nothing about...
No, but they open your eyes to it to where you can be like... They open your eyes to it to be to the point to where you can be like, oh, Chinese people can't drive. But all the accidents I've had have been with either black or white people. So the people that hit me, I feel like they can't drive. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't Chinese people. I'm just saying it's just stereotypes that it just has you looking more.
It's stereotypes.
Just like a black guy in a hoodie looks more dangerous than a white guy in a hoodie. But a hoodie looks dangerous, period. You can't walk in a bank with a hoodie on. But Trayvon Martin with a hoodie on was a whatever Zimmerman explained him on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I don't want to be the guy who's going to bed at 9 o'clock and saying things is not funny. No, I think things are funny. I'm a real laid back type of person. But I'm just saying, what is comedy now? Because I don't know what comedy is. That's all I'm saying. What is comedy? Because our real comedy is bogus. Right? So, anyway, what you think?
Comedy is comedy. This is what they do.
This is what they make us
do. She, like I said, explained it. She went ahead and went for what you are thinking in your mind to make jokes out of it.
But see, I think just like a Dave Chappelle, they make these jokes because they were conditioned a certain way, and then once you could become to a certain enlightenment, you be like, oh, this shit isn't, the joke's on us. See, they're jokes, but the joke's on you. Her making those jokes is not making it better for anybody. Yeah, we laughing. They laughing. The joke's on us. It's not making it better. So that's just the difference. So, man, I still promote that sister. Like, they promoted, they got 2 of them on there. And I advise you to look at the skit that she did, the other actress or writer that they got for SNL, black lady. Her skit is being Angela Bassett, and all she doing is talking like a what they have deemed as slave term. Oh, why you doing me like it's just, that's how I'm looking at things. I'm like, why is this still comedy?
Like a slave?
She was having Angela Bassett be Dora Explorer. I mean, it was a funny concept, but when you seen where she took it, it was like, wow. And then you got to look at the audience. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, we're taking our comedy mainstream. You're taking slave comedy mainstream to people who started this shit.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. I understand you joking about it amongst yourselves, just like they joke about themselves amongst themselves. But they ain't letting you do it. You can't go out and making a movie bashing Italians and they finna come out doing it. Italians gonna come out and watch it. You know what I'm saying? They might be able to do it. Italians can. But we can't do it. I don't know. Anyway, that's just something we was just thinking about. So. Alright, well, this the plug. Like I said, I'm finna get into something special for you. I'm gonna come back. We're gonna talk some real talk about the NBA and the short leashes they put on black coaches. Alright.
And so we're to come to understand the so-called prevalence of black-on-black violence in our community. We must also come to understand then the consciousness that is prevalent within our community and that is prevalent among our youngsters. The attitudes, the values, the perspectives that they have, the way they look at each other and look at the world. These states of mind, of consciousness, these perspectives themselves reflect historical, cultural, economic, political, and physical environmental circumstances. To a very great extent, we're deceived by those who write about crime merely as a psychological state, and a psychological state that is unconnected to what else goes on in the world. There is no psychological state unconnected to the rest of the world. What's the point of talking about it, except in terms of its connectedness with what is going on. Psychological states themselves then reflect political, economic circumstances. This is the reason why I mentioned earlier. If we are to come to understand our psychology, but as well as to understand our behavior, we have to understand our history and culture. We have to also understand economic circumstances. But you see, for a group of people who want to condemn us and make us criminal by nature, these other things are left out so that they can now talk about us as is the current style in terms of our genetic background, as if violence is implanted in our genes. So even while we had a black Secretary of Health, we had a government up there trying to talk about the fact that it was going to study the relationship between genetics and violence. A pathetic situation, by the way, isn't it? I was at one of these conferences at Columbia University, and it's the question I asked, filled with white folk and white experts, if you're going to study the relationship between violence and genes, then why are you studying black folk? And isn't it interesting, as I will point out here later on, in the face of the tremendous record of violence of Europeans, that we see black folk and black youngsters and black young men as the subject matter for studying a relationship between genes and violence. What a joke. But we get these kind of jokes all the time. Yeah, all the time. It's an amazing feat that the most violent people in the world and the most criminal people in the world are taken as models of sanity. And their victims are seen, as models of criminality. But that's the way it has to be under an oppressive system. As I will talk a little bit later, everything has to be done what? Turned what? Backwards. Everything's turned backwards, you see.
Welcome back to The Plug. I am Tommy Money. Like I said, I want to get into another topic before we get out of here about the short leashes on the coaches, the black coaches in the NBA. But before I do that, looking at the Black History Calendar app, now, since I do my shows on Wednesday, it's going to be a couple, a big event that everybody should know about. The slaves in Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina were freed in 1862 on May 9th. So that's Friday. This coming up. Now, I know a lot of people was talking Cinco de Mayo. That's Mexican Independence Day. All the people in Atlanta, all the people running in Miami, South Carolina, these are all places with, main attractions and things of that sort. Let's see if we can shed some light for the free, slaves, in Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. Again, that was May 9th, 1862. Now, before I get out of here, I want to talk about Mark Jackson getting fired by the Golden State Warriors. I got the message through my phone. Now, Mark Jackson has taken this team from embarrassment to playoff contender. Now, I feel deep down that he really got fired because the team owners / management is not spending their money right, surrounding the right pieces. They lost to Game 7, so it's not like they went to the playoffs and got swept. They lost to a team that should have beat them. They had injuries throughout the season. I just think they have a short leash on black coaches. I'm a Lakers fan. They had a black coach, Mike Brown. He coached 5 games, into a season and lost his job. Now, the coach that preceded him happened to be Mike D'Antoni, and he did a horrible job, and they never fired him. He resigned. Look at Doc Rivers. He was replaced by a first-time head coach. This first-time head coach didn't make the playoffs. His job's not in jeopardy. But, Doc Rivers was under the gun. It was another coach, not Alvin Gentry, even him probably, but Lionel Hollins. He was the coach of Memphis, got them to the Western Conference Finals last year. This year, Mark Gasol was hurt, but majority of the year, so they probably, end up having to snatch the 8th seed, but they got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. It was in a seven-game series, but I wonder is his job, at bay, because they just fired Lionel Hollins for no reason. So I just feel like these black coaches are on short leashes compared to the other coaches around the league. They don't get as much leeway, even when they're winning. Mark Jackson has improved his team record each year, and he lost his job. The year that Mike Brown won Coach of the Year, he lost his job. It just doesn't make any sense. The black coaches are fired pretty quickly. Brian Shaw, that's another coach I was thinking of who was fired pretty quickly, but it lost me. But anyway, I don't want to just make this about basketball, but I'm just showing you even today how things are coded, but we're under a different gun than anybody else. We're expected to either perform extremely well, and even when we do that, there's not enough. So this the plug. I like to thank everybody who tuned in this week. If you missed any of the previous podcasts that come on every Wednesday at 6 p.m., you can always download them at taxfreegov.com. You can click on the plug. It should be the latest episode there. If not, we'll talk to the producers, make sure find out what's going on. But most definitely, I am Tommy Monty. This is the plug. See you next Wednesday. Signing out.
Meetings, and that we criticize each other seriously. If SCLC made a mistake, we crucify them. And if we made a mistake, they crucify us. And all through the march, always going through my head is tonight they're going to give us some trouble. When the meeting came at night, not one SCLC staffer raised the issue. King was the only one who raised it. He said, Kwame, you said we have a nonviolent march, and you are just no longer a sneak field secretary. You're the leader of the organization now. And your actions are not what they used to be. They're all out of proportion to your individual personality. So your actions must be clear. He spoke. I knew I was incorrect. When he was finished, I told him, I said, Dr. King, I promise you one thing. You know me. I've always been nonviolent, and if I've ever broken nonviolent discipline, it's been this time. I said, you can tell, because we used to laugh at him, how he used to call who was the Attorney General, Katzenbach? I can't remember, but he used to call them. Listen, you call your little white boy up there, and you tell him that if he wants this march nonviolent, I promise him, they can brutalize anybody they want on this march, starting with me. I'll be nonviolent. But if they touch you, nonviolence is over. That's exactly what I told him. And when he died on April 4th, I knew what my job was. I knew precisely what it was. Nonviolence would be over this day, here and now. They'll know it. Everybody who we have contact with, start burning the cities. Let them know we ain't playing this. The people buried King. People don't make the mistakes that King made. King made a mistake. King makes the same mistake that Mandela makes. The same mistake that Albert Lithuli makes. They're all good people and we love them because they're honest, they're full of integrity. But they make a great error. Their error is they do not properly understand the level of human quality of the enemy at the given moment. But the people know the level of human quality of the enemy because the people deal with them every day. So why we love King and we applaud for him and we appreciate him, we follow him. When he says nonviolence always, we just look at him nicely. See, nice, he means well. But get the guns. Get them. And this can be seen everywhere. If you look at the history of Martin Luther King, when he was in Montgomery, Alabama, he swore nonviolence. They dynamited his house. When they dynamited his house, he talked nonviolence. The people came and told him, hey, you sit down. We're putting bodyguards around your house. King said, well, you don't know nothing about this one, Dr. King. You can lead us, but we're going to take care of you. We're putting bodyguards around your house. And bodyguards were put around the house of Martin Luther King in Montgomery, Alabama, as early as 1956.